write an equation for the total amount of money Jamie will have saved after n weeks. So who wants to share their equation? Somebody with the blue card. Go ahead, Nate.
I did 150 plus 510 equals.
How did you get that?
I knew that she started with 150, and she got $5 for every week, and n equals weeks. So.
Did anybody else do it differently than Nate to find this equation? No? Okay, so if we all did it this similar way, then we can see that we're multiplying the $5 we get for every week we have, every n weeks. Then we're adding the 150 that we already have from her grandfather. So what does in this equation, what's the y-intercept and what does it represent? Amy? The amount she started with, okay, and so that's the money she got from her grandfather is our y-intercept, and what is that? Okay, and then what's our coefficient of our n? What's the number in front of our n? 5, and what does that represent? $5 puts away each week. So that's how we can take this equation and we can see that it doesn't matter if it's 52 weeks from now, we can still calculate how much money she's going to be saving. We can see the relationship between the amount she started with and the amount she's going to have after a certain amount of weeks. So go ahead and turn the page and you're going to work with partner group and you're going to talk about Jenna. Go ahead.
So Jenna works at a retail shop. She makes $10 per week plus $3 for each item she sells.
Okay, so your job is to take Jenna's information, you're going to create a table, a graph, and an equation to represent how much she's making in 1 hour for every item she sells. You can start wherever you want, you can approach it however you want, you can discuss with however you want, but you have to have those 3 done to talk about how much she's making per hour. If you weren't talking out loud, I wouldn't know you're talking. Okay, are we wrapping up? Does everybody have an equation, graph, and a table? Yes. Okay, so I noticed that all of you started, well, not all of you, the majority of you started with a variety of different methods, so whatever you thought was easiest to approach this. So we're going to go ahead and write our 3 methods up on the board, and then we're going to talk about how we came about these and who started with what. So Nate, I saw that you started with the equation. If you could write that on the board for me, please. Thank you. Amy, you did the graph before you did the table, so can you please go ahead and draw the graph? And is there anyone that started with the table? Anyone that thought the table was easiest? That's me. I would love you to go start the table. That's so nice of you. Awesome. So does anybody's equation look different than Nate's? Everybody has the same thing that Nate wrote up there as their equation, Sarah? Okay, so you switch them up. You also use n. So we were just talking about any number. He used I using item. That doesn't matter. Did anybody else's look different than that? Okay, how about anybody's table look different? Okay, and how about anybody's graph? Does anybody's graph look different? Okay, so let's talk this through, because I don't believe any of you. So, what does this point on the graph mean? Go ahead.
It's the y-intercept or just the amount she makes per hour, that's on the graph.
Okay, so she sold 0 items, correct? And she's making $10. So how much does she make for each item after that? $3. Okay, so after she sold 1 item, she has the $10 she already made, and now how much does she have extra? If she sold 1 item. So how was her total? 13. So after selling 1 item, she should have, okay, I guess 13. I'll count that. There's no pocket. That's 1. Okay. So everyone's table looks the same as Jess's? Now I have a question. I heard over here you said she can go lower, correct?
Yes.
And can you explain what you meant by that?
If she like damaged the shirt or someone maybe like complained about her, maybe she could get like a takeaway money on her paycheck.
Okay, so does anybody know why there's only the first coordinate or the first quadrant shown on here? Why do we start at 0 and 10? Go ahead.
It's not negative number of items.
Right, you can't sell a negative number of items, and no matter what she's working that hour, she's making that $10, right? So we're not going to be able to go in the negative because she's making that $10 for this hour that we're talking about. So in this equation, what is our y-intercept? 10, and what does that mean? What does that equal? That's what she's starting at per hour, and then what's our coefficient? 3, and what does that equal? Right, so by looking at this equation, no matter what else we look at, we can tell how much she's going to make per item she sells. So we can see the relationship between these 2 variables, and that's how we can also use equations. That's how we can also look at slope. That's how we can also look at tables and graphs, so that we can recognize that this equation is going to change, but as it's changing, the rate of change is going to stay the same, and we can always tell the relationship between these 2 variables. Okay, that's it.